Today's Wednesday, August 20th, 2014, and you're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today, www.eesf.org. Everybody got a good show for you today, so stay tuned. Here it comes.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Seibert. It is good to be here this Wednesday morning where, had a kind of a scary situation happen last night where my wife and I were having dinner. And for those of you who have kids, you're probably already, they're either getting ready to go back to school or they've already started. And also that means that if they're in football or any kind of like fall activity, they've already started that as well. So very scary. Got a phone call from our coach. And found out that one of our kids got hurt during practice, and it was our seventh grader, Quinn. So they've been pretty injury-free, but football is a tough sport. I'm telling you, it is not good at all. And so basically, we left immediately, in the middle of dinner, left the plates on the table, food, everything, and went to go check him out, and apparently he had broken his nose. Now, at first, when the coach told my wife that, oh yeah, we think Quinn has broken his nose, I'm thinking, how in the world did he break his nose with a helmet on? One of those kind of questions like perhaps something may have gone awry. And come to find out when we got to the field, it was not only our seventh grader, but our eighth grader who had also gotten injured. And come to find out, it was during a tackling drill that they both had collided or tackled, had gone up against each other. And the end result was basically a freight train running at a not freight train. And as my eighth grader got hit by my seventh grader, my eighth grader basically tackled Quinn and twisted and turned and they went flying. And the worst part was that I guess as they had fallen to the ground, their helmet, their chin strap had undone, and their head basically rammed into Quinn, the seventh grader. His whole face went right into his face guard, and so his nose is broken. Oh, and somehow got the helmet or the face guard into his neck. And it's just a pretty significant contusion on his neck, but I couldn't believe it. What pisses me off is, okay, I'm not a football player. I enjoy watching a game here and there, but I really don't know the game at all. I mean, I don't know the positions. I'm just gonna flat out tell you, I know how to play soccer. I know how to race a bike. I know how to do those kind of sports, but when it comes to football, I'm an idiot. I'm a total idiot, and not to say I don't enjoy watching it, but it is not a friendly sport at all. And what angers me is the fact that basically they went up against each other in this drill that's a standard drill. But from what I understand, I think they got egged on a little bit from the coaches that were there, like, oh, it's going to be good, brother against brother. And instead of realizing that perhaps maybe you should take it down a notch and not let that testosterone go crazy. They didn't do that, and the result was a broken nose, possible concussion. One of them is out pretty much for 4 weeks the season, which, again, I've honestly got no problem with. But the investment we've paid for his season, his equipment, it's like, oh. So to be honest with you, I can't wait for this season to end, because if we can get through it without any more injuries, I will be very happy. But yeah, it's just one of those frickin' things. So anyway, went to the emergency room. They didn't really do a whole lot. There was so much swelling in his face that they couldn't x-ray it, or they could x-ray it, but they couldn't really tell whether or not they'd have to reset it or whatever. So basically, I think Quinn's going to look like Owen Wilson at some point, which I guess is not a bad thing after all. But yeah, it's a busy night last night, and one that I don't wish upon anybody at all. So I'm sure they slept okay last night. So crazy. How many of you out there have kids in football? I know there are a few of you, and it's a dangerous sport. I mean, it is a dangerous sport, and as much as they, try to, prevent concussions, there is so much that is not known about concussions and whether you get them and whether you have one and whether or not it's your first, second, or third, that it's like, holy crap. It's like, how do you even know if you had one or not? And I mean, our league is pretty good, and they're teaching heads-up tackling, which is awesome, which means you're not going in with your head and sparing and all that good stuff. And they've also done a testing cycle where kids go in before season and set up a benchmark of where their mind state is. Unfortunately, Quinn kind of comes in terms, wherever his benchmark is. I think it appears that he already has a concussion. So, and I've been warned. I mean, I got family members going, "What the hell are they doing playing football?" And I'm like, I don't know. They enjoy it, and they do, but. For my 8th grader, this is the last year. He's not going into high school football, and I'm grateful for that. So volleyball will be it for him. And my 7th grader, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't suspect that his season's going to be very good. He will not be cleared to play basically for another 2 weeks or suit up. So I don't know. It was a freak accident. Wouldn't have happened had their helmets not like popped off and got ajar. But that testosterone level should not have been there, and it's unfortunate. And again, I wasn't there, so I can't really comment. Well, I can comment, I can assume, but I don't want to call the coaches out, because they're pretty good coaches, and I don't know, they look out for the kids pretty well, and I like them. So anyway, that was my evening last night. Kind of exciting. Got to eat half my dinner, and then kind of deal with the rest of it. So hopefully concussions are not in your future if you have kids playing football, and they're as safe as possible. So anyway, I got a good show for you today. Not a ton of information on the program, but enough. So we'll get right into that next. The emails were a little light this week. We did have a couple press releases that I did link up in the show notes, and that's always good news. So as always, send your emails or your press releases or your information you'd like to share to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com. Up next, news.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, first news article of the show here today. Elevator Riders Club support Tinley Wish. This is awesome. Elevator Riders are giving back here, and they do this every year. They attended the MNMRC annual benefit ride to support the Tinley Wish Foundation, or the Tinley Wish, I guess, is kind of a foundation. It's a memorial ride for fallen Illinois State Trooper James Sauter. And around 500 riders were in attendance, and plenty of sunshine and fun was had by all. Benefit ride raised a considerable amount of money for the Tinley Wish program, which helps children and families in need. They reported to have raised over $30,000 in the 2013 event, and it's very cool that the ERRC members participated in it. And so check out the images in there. Glenn, great job, and nice to see you guys giving back, as you always do, to our country and our area and also our industry. Next news article, Pitt News reporting that the cathedral elevators are going to be updated. This is a pretty significant historic building, but apparently after 80 years with the same setup, Cathedral of Learning elevators are finally getting some much-earned TLC. Look at these elevators. They don't look that bad, and honestly, they don't look like they've been installed for 80 years. But anyway, it's good news, and hopefully the equipment that goes in is going to be reliable. in terms of what what's there now, and I'll comment on that in a little bit in terms of another article. Next news article coming from the Poughkeepsie, Journal. Look at this. I'm going to see if I can shut the end.
Choose from an extensive selection of order.
Okay, great. Anyway, this is a rack and pinion elevator. We talked about this news article last week where they opened a special elevator that helps, brings people down from an observation deck to a something or other.
The walkway opens, hundreds of thousands of people are using it. State Parks is managing a beautiful facility. And where did this bold idea come of connecting the Hudson River waterfront to the walkway with a 21-story elevator? Why not, right? I mean, that makes sense.
It's a beautiful elevator.
I am here because this was one of the very first grants that we filed with the feds to get money to build an elevator, and that was probably 7.5 years ago that we put that grant in, and so it's a real milestone, and it feels like an amazing accomplishment to be here and to see it all.
Really cool footage. I'm not sure whose elevator this is, but apparently the elevator is going to be closed for the second time since it opened last Thursday due to an internal part, according to state park officials and an executive with the company manufacturing installed it. I'm not sure who put this in. Oh, it's USA Hoist. Okay, so but not really a great start to an elevator like this, and it's probably going to be out of service occasionally. I'm not sure whether or not the issue is necessarily related to the fact that a rack and pinion is being used as a passenger car, and passenger codes need to be met. But anyway, the latest issue was with the position encoder, which is not designed to track the elevator. You know what? It shouldn't have this issues. I mean, these types of elevators are designed to run through, this kind of stuff. I mean, speaking from experience, who has been involved with projects that have gone out that have been similar to this, just haven't had those kind of issues. So it'd be interesting to see if, hopefully, this lift doesn't get that kind of continued bad press in the days to come. So there's another article here more on the above. Record Online also reporting that apparently the official from or a spokesman from the State Office of Parks and Recreation decided to close the elevator following a checkup over the weekend. A piece of software called a position encoder designed to provide tracking information was acting up a bit, and rather than rely on software's multiple backup systems, decision was made to close the elevator and order a new encoder. So anyway, so hopefully that fixes the issue, and you wonder if it's something else that's going on. Hopefully not. So it'd be great if we didn't hear anything more in the news about it. So, okay, Houston family stalled in elevator. It Dillard's elevator in Houston, as I just mentioned. This is coming from the Breitbart.com. And apparently a 29-year-old father, a 7-month-old baby, and baby's mother were stalled in an elevator of the Houston area. They were okay. And, the question, what if a small child had gotten on the elevator? Well, they would have been safe. There you go. They would have been fine. How about that for a response? So, hello. Remember to stay inside an elevator if you're ever in one and it stops moving and the doors don't open. Okay. Okay, real sad news to report. This one actually I found out over on Facebook. Press of Atlantic City reporting that an elevator mechanic was killed while doing routine maintenance on an elevator in Atlantic City on Friday. Young Brian Jacome, 25 of Bronx, died in an accident when the elevator at the New York Avenue Apartments began moving when he was working on it shortly after 10 a.m. Friday. Man, be safe out there, everybody, because this is dangerous stuff, and we want to make sure everybody goes home at the end of the day. Talking about U.S. Elevator Company truck was parked in the building's parking lot. I didn't realize U.S. Elevator was still around, or they still had offices, and I know they are part of a larger conglomerate, but I just didn't. I was not aware that they still had offices out there, unless this is a different kind of office. But yeah, real sad news. Obviously, our thoughts and our prayers go out to his family, and a lot of sadness there to report. Another article: OSHA investigating worker's death in elevator at Atlantic City Apartments. Apparently, they are investigating, as they should. So it'll be interesting what they find, and I just wonder if he was working alone. I don't, I be interesting to see what they find. So for now, OSHA has is about 6 months to conduct the investigation, release its findings. It could take less than that. So again, the only issue I have with OSHA is they typically don't know what the hell they're looking at, other than the OSHA requirements for lockout tagout procedure, also with enclosed space, stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see how they report on this, and hopefully we'll have a little more information when it's posted. Doesn't always get covered by mainstream media, but still good information to share so that we can try to prevent it in the future. Okay, next article coming from PE Hub. Partners Group agrees to a 450 MLN elevator parts deal. I want to say this is in actual China, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming based on the Suzhou Severa Elevator Riding Systems Company, Severa. It's a lot of money. It's US dollars 450 million. The transaction is one of the largest buyout investments agreed financial sponsor in China, 2014 to date. So, yeah, apparently Severa is a Spanish company, but that's a huge parts deal there right now. So, interesting. So, so more information on that. I don't think it'll affect anything here in the United States as of yet. So, okay, apparently in Bulgaria, an elevator accident linked to poor maintenance. Surprise, surprise. Actually, one person was killed, the other was injured. One that actually occurred. And again, maintenance is key. Good idea to do it. And as we do here in the States, it is a requirement for regular periodic maintenance to be performed. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. It's not always the case. But this is some obvious information to share, and not that you want to share this with your contractors and your customers, but still good information. Okay, Huffington Post, British Columbia has a report: homemade inclined elevator crash injures 3 people on Sunshine Coast. Hey, it seemed like a good idea at the time. And this is why we have elevator codes and lift codes, and why we require that hill climbers be brought up or in compliance with, because in this situation, a homemade inclined elevator on a private property failed over the weekend, sending it crashing down about 30 meters to the ground. A cable snapped on a funicular, which is basically a climbing device that has a slanted platform. And because of the terrain, a hovercraft took the patients to a spot where they could be reached by helicopter. Man, yeah. I mean, as many people as I hear complaining about, and I got quite a few phone calls about, brakes needing to be installed on existing devices. This is why. You're going to create some kind of lift device that will winch up a platform that might weigh 2,000 pounds plus, passengers. This is what's going to happen, and if you don't have any kind of safety mechanisms to actually physically stop it, you're going to have this issue. So hopefully we don't read any more about these kind of incidents happening. Okay, BostonGlobe.com reporting Boston firefighters responded to stuck elevator at Mandarin Hotel. I'm not sure why this actually made the news, but apparently maybe it's a slow news day on that particular day in Boston. So anyway, link is in the show notes if you want to check it out. Okay, I'm not going to click on the next link because I know there's going to be ad playing. The Elevator Adjuster has a bunch of new videos posted. This one, MCI Box Unknown Fault. There's other ones in there. I wasn't going to link them all, but if you want to become a subscriber to John's channel, go ahead and do that. He's got little short snippets. And just as a reminder, if you're not an elevator mechanic or technician, never perform or never work on any elevator device that you may see John working on. That's huge because you could die or be seriously injured. So. Okay, Roanoke.com news article has an article. Worker reports injuries after drop in POFF elevator, or POF elevator, or POF elevator, what do you want to call it? Federal officials are grappling with a flare-up of safety concerns at Roanoke POF Federal Building involving an allegedly faulty elevator in which the veteran services worker said he was injured Monday. Apparently, U.S. Department of VA confirmed that a worker reported being injured and said it had complained about unsafe conditions that persist in spite of the building recently undergoing its most extensive upgrade since it was built in 1974. Okay, what happened? Okay, so the accident in question, or alleged incident, okay, they're alleging that it fell at least 2 floors. And now this poor guy is tired and he hasn't slept. Oh boy. He's having neurological problems. Okay. All I can say is Google search the guy who got stuck in the elevator for 48 hours. See what happened to him. You want to see neurological problems? Wait until you see what happened after his lawsuit. Okay, next news article. This is great. Good to see this kind of information being shared. TheStar.com.my has an article talking about how to keep your kids safe. And awesomely, they have included, along with bicycle helmets, obviously, they've also included safety information and tips on riding elevators and escalators. So that is awesome. 6-year-old injured after a 16-foot escalator fall. This is coming from eveningtelegraph.co.uk. In the UK, this happened, and unfortunately, we can only imagine what happened with this. And again, it's appropriate to state that how the hell did a 6-year-old jump off over the side? Okay, it says we attended the incident at 12:52 on Monday after a report of a young boy who had jumped off the outside of an escalator on the Wellgate. Okay, so maybe what he did is he walked up the outside. So again, it's important to make sure that your escalators do have the devices that prevent walk-ups, the obstruction devices, the plastic roll, I don't know what the hell they're called, but just to prevent people from actually walking up the side. That's something I would have done, to be honest with you, but not a good situation. Okay, Elevator World Unplugged has a really cool photo of a door that has a visual skin on it, which is awesome. I mean, this is so cool. And basically, it's an escalator that's on a door. It's going up. I think this is cool, man. And it's pretty cool. Very cool. For anybody who is an elevator or escalator lift enthusiast, this might be a good opportunity to outfit your your home or your bar or your garage with something like this. So pretty cool. Okay, Elevator History Museum is in the news. QueensCourier.com has a really great article on Pat Carriger's Elevator History Museum, and if you want to become a member, if you're in New York City right now, go ahead and stop by, give Pat a call, and encourage you to find out what that museum is all about and support it wholeheartedly, because it's nice to see the preservation there for sure. So website is elevatorhistory.org. Next news article, SPCA urges pet owners to keep dogs off escalators. Good idea. Finally. Thanks for going public with this. Yeah, it's a really good idea not to let your dog go on an escalator. Seems like it'd be obvious, but not necessarily to most. So, yeah, apparently smaller dogs tend to get injured more often than bigger dogs. More than half the cases require at least one surgery that can cost up to $4,000. So anyway, yeah, good idea. Also, make sure that if you have a dog and you're riding the elevator, make sure you have that leash short. We've all seen the videos where the owner gets in the elevator, with the leash. The dog runs out as the doors are closing. Owner's still holding on to the leash, and then the elevator takes off, only to have a owner frantically trying to, basically drop to the floor so that they can try to get the damn leash off. It's awful. It's really awful. I mean, it's and then the dog gets brought up and anyway. So yeah, good idea. If you have a dog, share that with your other doggy friends. I'm not going to click on the next one. Scary elevator prank goes wrong. Just watch it till the end. It's really loud, but watch it till the end. It's actually kind of funny. We actually showed this before, but I don't remember the actual outcome as it was posted today. Maxton releases new product. New hydraulic elevator shutoff ball valve has been introduced. So if you want to check it out, you can go ahead and check it out at the NAC booth 834 in San Antonio, Texas. Looks like a pretty slick device. Okay, if you've been living under a rock for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and you're not on Facebook, which it's okay if you're not, because it drives me absolutely nuts. You've already heard about the cool, the awareness that the Ice Bucket Challenge, and I hate to even talk about it because, in my opinion, I don't think, I know they're raising a ton of money, which is great, but I think the peer pressure of the ALS Challenge bothers me a little bit in terms of, how it's being presented, because a lot of people are asking the question like, hey, why, what are people doing? Are they dumping ice on their heads and then just like, not donating money? What are they doing? So, and so literally what it's done is it has created a pretty significant, awareness for ALS, and that's great. But at the same time, there are so many great charities out there that could use funds. And so I know we were called out already, and we donated, and also did Ice Bucket Challenge. My wife and my kids did it. I didn't do it. But I don't know. The whole thing kind of bothers me, and Tiffany's like, don't let it bother you. It's not a big deal. But if you want to check this video out, it's actually pretty funny about ALS challenge, Ice Bucket challenges gone bad or gone wrong. I'm not going to play it because it's going to basically load up a bunch of ads, but it's pretty funny, and I can only imagine. It's probably going to get even worse as more of the challenges have gone there. If you're interested in donating, and it just as a warning, there is some swearing in it, so it's pretty funny. If you do want to donate, ALS Association, Create a World Without ALS. I don't know if this is the actual website. Somebody sent it to me. I want to make sure it is. If not, just double check, because I don't know if it's an association or it's an actual thing. Make sure that whoever you donate to is a viable and a real charity. And as you are trying to figure out, where you want to donate your funds or your money, it's a pretty good site. You want to make sure that the charities that you give to or that you help support have the majority of their donations going directly back to the program. And a lot of them don't do that. And that's one of the problems I have with some of these organizations where you've got an executive director making $200,000 or $500,000 a year. I don't think that's right. So I will not give to any kind of charity that has that kind of situation going on. So anyway, and that's going to do it for our show, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you get a chance to check out the the links and the videos and the show notes, because I didn't want to play them. And that's going to be pretty much it. So everybody be safe out there, no matter what your job is in the elevator industry or lift industry. It is so important that we all do our part to make the equipment we ride on safe and sound. And so just do your part. We all want to go home at the end of the day, and that's the number one priority. So, all right, everybody take care and have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.